I heard you speaking to good friend of the show, Chris Van Vliet, and you talked to him about how you, when you were looking at becoming a wrestler, you wanted to be like the Black Hulk Hogan. So, like, with that in mind, like, obviously, you end up becoming, you know, part of the most successful tag team in history. Were you initially disappointed that you weren't going to be, that your path was as a duo as opposed to a single star?
Yes, I never wanted to become a tag team wrestler. I've always wanted to become a singles wrestler. Bubba wanted to become a tag team wrestler, and he's always said that. He's on record at saying that. Me personally, yeah, I wanted to be the Black Hulk Hogan at the time. Because I was such a fan of Hulk Hogan's. I idolized him, loved his promos. I actually used to memorize his promos and do them in front of the mirror and stuff. So when I was told I was going to be in a tag team, I was like, okay. And I just remember being scared when I got to ECW because, these were grown ass men. I was like 22, 23 at the time. I was a kid. And these men were beating the crap out of each other using barbed wire bats and thumbtacks. And,
Yeah,
it was crazy. And I said, well, maybe being in a tag team won't be so bad. I can have somebody help me. And long enough, Bubba was put with me and I was part of the Dudley Boyz. And, the rest is history.
yeah.
Again, I don't regret being in a tag team. There were times during the tag team run that I had tried to get out to do singles and, way before the Reverend Devon thing, and it never happened. And so when the Reverend Devon did come out, I was faced with a lot of elements because you got to look at it. At that time, I had been in the tag team for 12 years, never really did singles every once in a while. So now you're going to put me in a singles gimmick, try to get the Reverend Devon character over more than I had tried to do it with Devon Dudley with the Testify. And then you're going to put a guy named Bautista with me who's never really had any real training. And I say that because even though he was in OVW, when I asked Dave, I said, because there was a certain spot I needed him to do and he couldn't do it. And I said, and it shocked me. And I just went, what do you mean you can't do it? He goes, well, they only taught me how to do run-ins. I go, what do you mean they taught you how to just do run-ins? He goes, I never really learned. I was like, what? And it shocked me. So now you have a guy who is as big as Batista is. He's with me. He's like my bodyguard. I got to try to, teach him and move him around the ring and put him in a good spot. Not only that, but I got to get a character over. And then on top of that, I got to get myself over. So I had all those three elements against me and nobody had seemed to understand that. And it was working great at first. And then all of a sudden, somewhere it went south.
I think it was a casualty of the time personally, because 2002 was in the nicest possible way, 2002 was a bit of a hot mess in WWE. Kind of, it was, the invasion had just happened and failed. Kind of, they split you and Bubba up very quickly. It felt like there was always, new blood coming in from John Cena to, as you say, Batista to Brock Lesnar. All this influx of OVW talent who probably weren't quite ready at the time. There was too much going on. And I think a character like to take a beloved character like Devon and Bubba Ray and to make them single stars in my opinion, needed a lot more time and focus. And it was like suddenly you were just split up and had to kind of make it work on the fly.
Well, WWE at that time sometimes did things like that. They rushed things when they shouldn't have. Vince thought it was a great idea to separate us and to put us singles. He didn't make it as a singles at the time, and neither did I. So, it was wrong timing. It was bad timing, whatever you want to call it, but it just didn't work.
Did you from coming at from your faith background, how did you feel about doing the Reverend Devon gimmick? Did you feel comfortable doing it, or a bit like because of the character and the overtones of it?
I was comfortable, but I wasn't. And I say that because I didn't want to offend my parents.
Yeah.
They were making the Reverend Devon character look like a televangelist that was crooked.
Yep.
And, was stealing money from the church and trying to hurt the people within the church. So I did have a little bit of problem with it. And I remember going to my father and telling him, and his exact words to me was, when you're done hooping and hollering in the ring, bring it over to where it really counts in the pool pit. And I never told my mother until one day somebody from the congregation said, I saw your son on TV preaching and carrying on and beating people up, talking about it was in the name of Jesus. And then I get the phone call saying, what's going on? And I told her, and she was just like, mm-hmm. She bit her lip. She was like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, okay. She was like, I'm not good with this. I said, I know. I said, it's not going to be like ECW. I'm not going to be sitting up there cursing and carrying on. I promise you. I said, I will try to keep it as respectful as I possibly can. I said, but know who my boss is. Yeah. I said, it's Vince McMahon. Mom, I don't give a damn if it's Vince McMahon. If I need to go talk to him, I'll talk. I said, no, you won't. Like, no, you won't, Ma. Love you with all due respect, but can't have a meeting with Vince. This is not high school where you got to speak to my teacher or principal.